So I've got a great setup guide for you today. If you're using Retrobat, I'm doing 3 Neo Geo systems all in one. So I'm covering the Neo Geo standard system. I'm then going on to cover the Neo Geo CD. And then finally, I'm going to be looking at the Neo Geo 64, or sometimes this one's known as the Hyper Neo Geo 64. So as usual with my Retrobat setup system guides, I'm going to be looking at video settings, which files you need for each one of these systems, which game files work best, game extensions, and also video settings. So check this one out. Okay, so if you're new to my channel, be sure to hit notifications, subscribe and like. It'll get you up-to-date content as I release it for Retrobat, Launchbox, Retroarch, Batacera, and many different standalone emulation setup guides that I do here on my channel, Just Jamie. So we're looking at Neo Geo first today. So obviously Neo Geo is held as one of the great arcade home consoles of the early 90s. Okay, so first thing we're going to do for this is what I always suggest, and we need to look at Bat GUI to see which file extensions we need for our games on Neo Geo. So if I just right click on my Retrobat shortcut and just go down to open file location, you should have inside of here a .exe. This is Bat GUI. This is a very good tool. And what we can do from here is just go to system list, and at the top just here, you're going to find system. If you just left click on this one and just scroll down until we find Neo Geo. And here's Neo Geo. Now, just let me explain. If you can't see this text, which I'm pointing my cursor on right now, there's a good likelihood that you haven't installed Retrobat properly. And I do recommend you checking out my comprehensive setup guide for that one. It's in my Retrobat playlist. You can't miss it. It's almost on 12,000 views at this point, I think. So anyways, we're looking at Neo Geo, and the file extensions for the games we need for standard Neo Geo is .zip, .wad, .7zip, and it's also being supported by 3 Retroarch Libretto cores. As we can see here, we got FB Neo, FB Alpha, FB Alpha 2012. So what we're going to do next then is actually take a look at the games that I've got for this. So in my Neo Geo games folder, I've got 2 Neo Geo games, and these are in .zipped format and they work fine. So what I'm going to do is just highlight both of these, right click and just press on the copy. And if I just right click again on Retrobat, open file location, and I'm going to just scroll down till I get to the ROMs folder and scroll down again until I get to Neo Geo, which is here, and just right click and just paste those 2 games in there, which again are in .zip format or file extension, and they work perfect. Now we also need a BIOS file, which is highly recommended for this system. So in my BIOS folder, which is again in my Retrobat directory, I'm going to just go in here, and in my Neo Geo files folder, I've got a Neo Geo.zip folder, and that is your BIOS file. It's literally called Neo Geo. So again, I'm going to just copy this one. And you don't need to pop this one into any of the folders you see here. This one is going to just sit loosely inside as so. So we've got everything we need now for that. So let's actually go ahead and open up Retrobat and see if the game is going to boot. Okie doke, so as we can see, we got Neo Geo just here. So what I'm going to do is just open this one, and I've got both of my games here. So first thing I always suggest doing is just grabbing yourself some artwork in a preview video. So I've done a different setup guide on getting artwork, that type of thing, but very briefly, to do this, just press on your start button or whichever button you're using to get you into your main menu. And then just scroll down to Scraper and Scrape Now. And this should generate us some images and a couple of preview videos for our Neo Geo games. So just give this a few seconds. Obviously, if you've got more than 2 games, this is going to take you much longer, but not too long. Okay, so scrape and finish, update game list to apply changes. We're going to go to game settings, update game list, and just press on yes on this bit. And here we go. So we got Blues Journey and we got Free Count Bout. So let's check Blues Journey. So I'm going to go to View Options. If I just press up on my D-pad, go to Advanced System Options. Under Emulator, I've got several different cores here, and I've also got Rain, which is a separate download. But let's try Auto. Let's try everything at default settings and see if this is going to boot. So as we can see, that works perfectly. A very cute game to Blues Journey. I don't think this one's talked about much, or I could be wrong. So what we're going to do next then is look at video settings. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to View Options and I'm pressing my select button on my PS3 controller. From here, you can just go down to Advanced System Options, and we're going to take a look at the video settings now. So shader set. Now, we can choose different shaders here, and these are pretty much filters. So a couple I do recommend, if you want to go for a very old school CRT TV type look, then curvature is definitely for you. And I'm going to show you that shortly. But normally I recommend enhanced. I think enhanced is a very nice shader set. Now, decorations, just a minute ago when I was playing that game, you'll notice that I've got this little decoration around the side where you can see Neo Geo plastic. We can actually get rid of this or actually choose a different decoration, which you should have on Retrobat as standards. But I'm going to go for none, like I normally do. And if we go to integer scaling, I'm going to put this one to on. This is going to make our screen a little bit smaller, but a little bit more condensed, and the goodness will really show, not so much pixelation. Now, if I go to vertical sync, put this one to yes, vertical sync gets rid of screen tear. So say we play a 3D game, it's likely going to tear, so always handy to put this one to on. And if we just drop down in advanced settings to visual rendering, we got bilinear filtering just here. Just make sure this one's on. Again, it's going to make games look so much better. Again, it's going to eliminate that pixelation and just make the games look a little bit more newer than what they actually are. And finally, under game aspect ratio, I sometimes enjoy seeing this in full or 16 by 9. So I'm going to just check out full for this. And this time I'm going to boot up Free Count Bout with these video settings that I've just applied.
Now we start the SWF official match, the Rookie Championship. In the blue corner,
So as we can see, that looks a really good picture. Now let me just show you back to Blues Journey with these video enhancements set. So that's pretty cool. And just finally for this one, I did mention a curvature shader just a minute ago. So advanced system options. And if I go to shader set, let me just show you curvature. I really think this one's going to impress some people out there. So as you can see, that's why I have to show that. I know scan lines are very popular and people want that old school look. So yeah, curvature is the shader to go for if you really want that authentic old school look. So next up, we're looking at Neo Geo CD. So firstly, what I'm going to say for Neo Geo CD on Retrobat is you're going to need a ton load of BIOS files. Let me show you, first of all, how to see which BIOS files is we need. If we go into Retrobat, okay then, so once we're inside of Retrobat, let me show you a little shortcut and easy way of finding BIOS files that we need for particular systems. If we go to main menu, I'm pressing start on my controller, game settings, right near the bottom, we got missing BIOS check. If we select that, this has every system that requires BIOS files and firmware files. So what we're looking at right now is for Neo Geo CD. And like I said just a minute ago, if you like BIOS files, you're going to like Neo Geo CD. So these BIOS files you're about to see are going to cover all the cores and the emulator for Neo Geo CD. So let's just scroll down a little bit further. And here is the start of Neo Geo CD. So we got Neo Geo.zip, so that's going to be the same file there we just used for the standard Neo Geo. Besides that, we're going to need several other Neo Geo BIOS files. As you can see, there's a lot there that we need. But once we got these, it's very simple. So let's just exit out of Retrobat. And once again, I'm going to advise that you just go to the Retrobat shortcut, open file location, and back to UI. System list again, drop down system, and obviously this time we're looking for Neo Geo CD. So we got lots of file extensions for our games that we can use with Neo Geo CD. So we got .text, .m3u, .q, and that corresponds with .bin, .iso, .cso, .chd, .zip, .7zip. And as we can see just here, there's two Libretto Retroarch cores which are going to be compatible with your Neo Geo CD games. Okay, so let's head over to the Neo Geo folder I've got just here. And like you've seen a minute ago, there's a lot of BIOS files we need for Neo Geo CD. So what we're going to do is place these into the Retrobat directory, obviously the BIOS directory. So in Retrobat BIOS, you're going to see a Neo Geo CD folder, which is just here. It's just titled Neo CD. If we open this one up, what I'm going to do is just copy everything I've got just here, right click, copy, and paste them all in. Now, I find for best compatibility, so you don't get annoying BIOS files missing when you launch a game, is to also copy these into the root directory of this BIOS folder. So paste these into this one as well. And let's close this one down. And if I just back out with the BIOS folder, this time I'm going to go to ROMs. And I'm going to scroll down up until I get to Neo Geo CD, which is just here. Now, I've got a couple of Neo Geo CD games. Now, let me tell you something. First of all, if you can get these or put them into .chd format, you're going to be saving your hard drive some space. Also found that by booting these up with a .zip file extensions and they work fine. So first of all, I'm going to drag my King of Fighters into the Neo Geo CD folder in Retrobat. And what I was just saying about extracting this, let me show you what I mean. If I just drag and drop a zipped file of a game into that Neo Geo CD folder, what I'm going to do is just right click, new folder, and I'm going to call it Ghost Pilots. And from here, what I'm going to do is just drag this zipped file or zip folder into the Ghost Pilots folder I've just created. Go inside of here. Now, I'm using WinRAR, as you can see. You might be using a different extraction tool, such as 7-zip or WinZip. They're all pretty much the same. So I'm going to unextract these, or extract these rather, here. And this is going to take out the bin and the .q file, which we can use in Retrobat. So once you've extracted this, let's just delete this compressed zipped file. We no longer need that one. And that's it. So it's all nice and compact in the Neo Geo CD folder. We got Ghost Pilots and we got King of Fighters 99, which I've done the same with. So now these are all in place and we got our BIOS files in place too. Let's open up Retrobat again. Okay, so Neo Geo CD, if we just go inside of here, I'm going to just scrape some artwork. So main menu, scraper, and scrape. Now we'll just give this a few seconds, just get the artwork in preview video for both of these games. And by the way, the theme I'm using in the background, if anyone should ask, is A Touch of Glass. And if you want to install this one and you can't install it from the themes menu in Retrobat, I did a setup guide on that the other day you might want to watch. That's manually installing themes. Okay, so we're going to go to game settings, update game list, yes. And here we go, we got our games. Now I'm going to go to view options, advanced system options, emulator. So we got two Retroarch Libretto cores for Neo Geo CD, as well as an emulator that we can download. But I'm going to leave this on auto, and I'm going to just go ahead and boot up the King of Fighters 99.
Fight!
And there we go, significantly failed on all levels of trying to beat that opponent. So as we see, King of Fighters are looking good. And just to check out Ghost Pilots, which I just extracted just now, let's just quickly test this one out. Now, if you should get a menu like this come up for a game that you do, just simply press on play. So Ghost Pilots is working fine, and trust me, this is one superb shoot 'em up. Totally underrated as well. So now we got both these games working, let's check out the video settings for this. So view options, advanced system options, and again, shader set. I'm going to go with enhanced again this time, and just be sure to check out all these shaders. They're not going to hurt your computer or break anything. We've even got scan lines just here. So it's normal. I'm going to just go for enhanced. I do like this one. Decorations, again, we got a choice here of different decorations. I'm going to go for none. Game aspect ratio, I'm going to select full on this one. And integer scaling on. Vertical sync, I'm going to choose on, or rather yes on this one. And if we just go down a little bit further to visual rendering, I'm going to put bilinear filtering on. So again, this is going to make our game look so much better if you don't like the pixelation effect much. So with all those settings now on, let's check out the King of Fighters again.
Fight!
And god damn it, I was almost close there of beating that opponent. So what I'm going to quickly show you next is I'm going to go back into Ghost Pilots, but this time I'm going to take away integer scaling. So advanced system options, integer scaling, I'm going to this time put to off. And just watch the difference with this one. You're going to get more of a full screen now. So Ghost Pilots. So as you can see, the difference there is noticeable with the size of the screen. Okay, so that's going to conclude Neo Geo CD, and next up we are finally concluding today's setup guide with Hyper Neo Geo 64, or just Neo Geo 64. So I've got some good news and some bad news for Neo Geo 64, or Hyper Neo Geo 64. One thing is there isn't much information around the system, and the reason being is because it was a totally failed system in its day when it released, and it's only got a handful of games available for it. So what we need to do first is again go to the Retrobat shortcut, open file locations, open up the BAT GUI tool. Now system list, system once again, and we're going to go down to Neo Geo 64. So we got a couple of cores which support this and their main cores. So we don't actually have a Neo Geo core as such. These are based on MAME, as we can see here. And your file extensions for your games are going to be in .zip or .7zip file extension. So another thing I need to say is that if we go to the Retrobat missing BIOS section, Neo Geo 64 doesn't actually show up. So I've had to kind of research this myself outside of Retrobat. So what I looked for was a BIOS file for MAME. So this is the BIOS file that we're going to need, and this is HNG64. So again, what I'm going to do is go to Retrobat shortcut, open the file location, and in the BIOS folder, I'm going to just drag and drop this HNG64 zip file inside of here. And if I back out again, just close this one down, I'm going to go into the ROMs folder in Retrobat directory and scroll down until I get to Neo Geo 64. Now, I've got a couple of games here for this, and let me tell you, these don't emulate too well. So we got Beast Busters 2 game, and we've also got Samurai Showdown, and that one partially works, but I'm going to show you this in a second. So just be aware that Neo Geo 64 partially works, partially don't work. But let me show you what I mean with this. We're going to go to Retrobat again. So Hyper Neo Geo 64, and as always, let's grab some artwork in preview video for this. So scrape now. And game settings and update game list, yes. And here we go. So all looks great. So we got Beast Busters 2, or rather Beast Busters Second Nightmare, and it'll be great to see this one working. Let me show you what I mean. If I go to View Options, Advanced System Options, Emulator, I'm finding that the Libretto MAME 2016 core is working the best. So let me leave this on MAME 2016, and I'm going to attempt to boot up Beast Busters once again. Now, what I mean by partially working is that you can see the game's working okay. It's a little bit buggy, but the sound is the massive problem there. So I'm going to also show you Samurai Showdown. So if I boot this one up again by default settings, so I'm going to just close that one down because I'm going to give myself an epileptic fit, and I'm sure you might too as well. So we can adjust video settings on this. So let's try Beast Busters because this one is working more than Samurai Showdown. So again, view options, advanced system options, shader set, I'm going to put this one down to enhanced. Decorations, I'm going to put to none. Game aspect ratio, I'm going to put to full. Integer scaling to on. Visual rendering, I'm going to put bilinear filtering to on. And let's quickly boot up Beast Busters again and see if this makes any difference. So as you can see, the gameplay actually isn't that bad on Beastbusters, but the sound is the problem. You've got sound settings under View Options, Advanced System Options. So let's just scroll down to Audio and let's try going under Resampler and putting this on Nearest. Let's boot up Beastbusters once again and see if this makes any difference. But you could be here all day and night searching for an audio option which is going to be working with this game. And there you go. So like I just said, you can be messing around with the sound settings all day and night. Like I've tried this and I'm not getting anywhere. So yeah, Neo Geo 64 is working, but it's not working as you can see. So that's it for my triple Neo Geo setup guide today. So we've covered the standard Neo Geo CD, and finally the Neo Geo or Hyper Neo Geo 64. So follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And also make sure to hit notifications, subscribe and like so you don't miss upcoming Retrobat content that I upload quite a lot of. Be sure to check out my playlists as well. And be sure to check out my membership option. On Next Level, I've got a perk where if there's a video that you want uploaded, I can exclusively make this for you. If there's anything you're struggling with, emulation related, just go to that Next Level and I'll get onto that ASAP. But until next time, stay retro.